Okay, hello to the two people watching right now. We'll start in just a minute. Okay, just waiting for a couple more people to show up. And if they don't, we'll just go ahead anyway. Just be a few minutes. Or less. Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock, so I guess we'll just start. Alright, welcome to the Game of Thrones Season 4 Q&A/discussion. All my usual disclaimers still apply. My laptop is a little glitchy, so if there are any technical problems, please bear with me. If at any point the stream dies, please don't leave. I will try to get it restarted as soon as possible. So just FYI on that. Tonight, my dinner will be this sub sandwich and fruit smoothie. Not sure how I got into the habit of announcing my dinner before I do these things. I don't know. Just feels like a tradition now, so just stick with it. Anywho, we'll do questions from Twitter and my AskFM account first. And then we'll get to questions in the comments section. So if you got any questions, anything you want to ask or comment on or whatever, just leave them right down there. Again, I'm sorry there's no chat room. I missed the chat room, but Google Plus decided to get rid of it for some reason. I don't know why. Anywho, here we go. Where is it? Okay. This is from my AskFM account. Was there anything they changed from the books this season that you didn't like? Yes, actually, there was. And it's kind of a big one, too. I really had to take issue with what they did with Shae in the finale. I knew it was coming because I had read the books. I knew what happened to Shae, but this was one of those occasions when I wished they had gone a different direction and changed something from the book. Wait a minute. No, this is something they didn't change from the book. No, wait, no, I'm sorry, it still applies. It still applies, and I'll explain why. What they changed with Shae, and really her whole story arc, and her whole development as a character, really, it affected the way her character ended up, and I don't think it worked. I knew how it was going to go, probably, and I was hoping they wouldn't go that route because it wasn't gonna. I knew it wasn't gonna feel right, and it didn't. But because with the way they changed the character and her storyline in the series, in the TV series, her ending up the same way and meeting the same fate as she did in the books no longer makes sense. In the books, it made sense, because in the books she was just a whore, basically. She presumably didn't really have any genuine affection for Tyrion. She was just there. She was just in it for the money, basically. So her kind of screwing him over in the end made sense. Her ending up in Tywin's bed made sense. But in the show, they changed it to where she actually really did care about Tyrion. And yeah, he kind of broke her heart in order to get her to leave, to protect her. But I still didn't buy that she did what she did, and I still didn't buy that Tyrion would do what he'd do in the finale. Because why would she end up in Tywin's bed like that? It doesn't make sense. Then the nostalgia chick made a good point about this. She said how Shae isn't doing it to screw over Tyrion because he's never going to know. He's being executed in a few hours. He's never going to see her again. So it's not being done to hurt him. And Shae's not doing it for the money either, because as they'd already established, Shae didn't care about money. Varys offered her the bag full of gemstones to go away and live somewhere else, as a rich woman for the rest of her days, and she said, fuck your money, I'm staying with my half-man lover because I really love the dude. So now Shae ending up there, it's like I don't buy it. And more than anything else in season 4, and really in the whole series up to that point, that was the one moment where I just shook my head and went, no, this is wrong. This is bullshit. Shae wouldn't do this. And I don't think she would have done that because of what they changed about her character and her story. And I don't think Tyrion would have killed her either. I don't buy that. In the books, it made sense, but Tyrion is a lot more angry and bitter in the books. They've made him more of they changed him in the series to make him more like a little more of a lighthearted, more optimistic guy. And he's not nearly as embittered as he is in the books, and it's just that part just felt wrong to me. I didn't buy it. Okay. Sean Ickbins, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Which character's story arc is your favorite so far and why? Which character's story arc? I think maybe Arya. Maybe Tyrion too. I think Arya, more than anyone else, has gone on such a journey to the point where her character is almost unrecognizable from where she was in the pilot to where she is now. She's a completely different character. But you can't say that it hasn't been an organic journey. I mean, they've changed her so much, but it all feels very real and very natural. And a change to that extent is so hard to pull off. But they did it. I think it's been really impressive what they've done with Arya. So yeah, I think she'd be my favorite. Yeah. Okay. Joe CR. Do you think the show is going out of its way too much to illustrate evil prevailing? After this season, it's getting quite tiring, in my opinion. Too much to illustrate evil prevailing. Maybe in the earlier seasons. I think they started to... I think the tide started to move back the other way a little bit this season, though. I mean, because the good guys had some real shining moments here. They killed Joffrey. They killed... what the fuck else did they kill? Tywin. They killed Tywin, and those were, pretty much the two main bad guys of the series. The Night's Watch repelled the wildlings, and Stannis showed up and helped them capture Mance. And the good guys came back this season. I think after the Red Wedding, you would certainly have a good argument. But yeah, I think season 4 was a good one for the baby faces on Game of Thrones. I really do wish Oberyn Martell could have stuck around, though. That was a heartbreaker. Joe CR. Did the story of Bran this season bore you? For me, I had little interest. Yeah. A little bit. Boy, Bran's story has really taken a long time to go anywhere, isn't it? A lot of I'm sure we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I think Bran's story arc has been one of the victims of the changes that they're making. These changes, there's a ripple effect when they change something from the books, and that ripple effect does tend to bleed into other things. Not to mix metaphors or anything, but with Bran, it's like, yeah, the changes are really starting to affect this. Specifically with the pacing, because they're not just adapting book 3 here. They're adapting book 3, well, the second half of the second part of book 3, and also they're adding different things that were not in the books, as well as putting in stuff from future books, and it does make for a wonky type of pacing from time to time. And with Bran, I think Bran's story was one of the bigger victims of this, even though we didn't really see Bran that much. But it's like, well, they had to add in that whole subplot of them going to being captured at Craster's house just to give Bran something to do, because they'd kind of finished his story off from Storm of Swords at that point, so they're kind of just, okay, well, we don't want to lose these actors, so we got to put them in there somewhere. So let's just do this, and they did all that stuff with Theon too. Just, I guess, presumably just to keep Alfie Allen around. And it's like, well, I understand that, but maybe sometimes it might be better just to put the actors on the bench for a little while, just to keep the integrity of the story. Because you are kind of affecting the pacing here, and that's going to have further repercussions later on. I did like how Bran's story ended up, because now it looks like, okay, we're finally making some progress here with this three-eyed raven business, but I agree it did take kind of a long time to get to that point. Alrighty. Sean Eakbins. If you could choose to be a house member, Lannister, Stark, etc., which one would you choose? Member of one house. All right, I'm gonna give you two answers. I think being one of the Tyrells would be pretty cool. Because well, number one, they're rich, so they got all the money. They've got most of the food apparently, so you'll never go hungry being one of the Tyrells. They live in Highgarden, where presumably the weather is nice most of the time. So they've got a pretty sweet deal. Also, it seems like the Tyrells are pretty savvy dudes. They know what the deal is. It just seems like they're kind of thinking circles around most people. Plus, being related to Olenna Tyrell probably couldn't hurt me, because she seems like she's working 5 steps ahead of everybody. Yeah, you're sure Littlefinger orchestrating Joffrey's murder and getting away scot-free? Yeah, that took some brains. So, yeah, being in the same family as Olenna, that'd probably be a good thing. But if I had to choose one, I think I would probably feel most at home as one of the Starks. They're the Wardens of the North, or that they were. So they live in the North. They're used to the cold weather, so they like cold weather. I like cold weather. I'm really bad with hot weather, but I love cold weather. Wolves are my favorite animal. Also, the house motto, "Winter is coming." That always, I always took that to mean prepare for the worst. That way, you're ready for it when it happens. And I think those are good words to live by. Especially in Westeros, where the worst usually does happen, and especially at the most inopportune moments. And I think I would feel most at home as one of the Starks, though I do think they should probably heed their own words a little more closely. Ned, especially in the case of Ned and Kat and Robb, unfortunately. But the rest of the Starks, they seem like survivors. So yeah, I would probably want to be one of the Starks, I think. Sean Eakbins, if you could resurrect one dead character from the series and kill another off in their place, who would they be and why? If I could resurrect one dead character, Oberyn Martell, goddammit. That guy was so fucking cool. I knew he was going to die because I'd read the book, but God. This was one of those times when I really wish they had changed from the book, because I wanted more time with Oberyn Martell. That dude was the breakout character of that season. That guy was fucking awesome. God damn, it pissed me off when he got killed. I wanted so much for him to stay alive. If I could kill one character in his place, the fucking Mountain. Fucking caving in Oberyn Martell's skull, and now we're left with no Oberyn Martell. Fuck you, Mountain. You jerk. Ugh. Pissed me off. What a way to go, though. Holy shitballs. Sean Eakbins, who do you think is the more despicable character? Joffrey, Ramsay, or Gregor Clegane? I think Joffrey, easily. I think it's kind of hard to hate Gregor Clegane. I'm just going to call him the Mountain. I think it's kind of hard to hate the Mountain because he's not really a character so much. I mean, we've seen so little of him. He just sort of pops in and out when his presence is required to, push the story forward or something. We don't really know much about him as a character at all. He's really more of a plot device, so it's kind of hard to hate him because there's just not much to him, really. Ramsay, while Ramsay is just a vile, despicable person, and he's got no shortage of nastiness to him, we have seen a few other dimensions to him. We always saw how he's a bastard, but he wants his father's respect, and he really wants to be legitimized as a proper heir to the House of Bolton. So even though he is a sadist and just a really cruel, unendingly cruel human being, there is a little bit more to him than that. With Joffrey, there really wasn't. Joffrey is just a cruel, sadistic son of a bitch, and that's really it. I guess all the inbreeding just drove him nuts. I guess that was the deal, really. He was prone to the same madness that affected the Mad King due to inbreeding and whatever. He was just a sick, sadistic, evil son of a bitch, and that's it's really easy to hate a guy like that. There's just not much else to him. So yeah, most vile character. I think Joffrey, yeah, easily. Joe CR, how depressed were you with the death of Prince Oberyn? It was on my mind for so long, so distressing. Oh man, that bummed me out. Knew it was coming. I just kept saying, don't do it. Don't you fucking kill Oberyn. This guy is too cool. You need to keep him around. Fucking Mountain. God damn it. We should have had so much more of Oberyn Martell. Game of Thrones needed more Oberyn Martell. God damn it. Ugh. Joe CR. Is there an alarming amount of actual likable characters? Aside from Tyrion, Jon, and Jaime, I care for no one, really. I guess you meant an alarmingly small amount of actual likable characters. Tyrion, Jon, and Jaime. Wow, so we're including Jaime as one of the few likable characters in the show now, huh? Wow. I see your point. I think there are a few more admirable characters on the show than that. Brienne, certainly. Podrick is nice. Daenerys. She seems like she's got her head screwed on straight. Daenerys seems like to be an inherently good character. She's got a vengeful streak, for sure, but she seems to be a good person. No, but Sam's a good guy. Gilly is nice also. Gren and Pip, but they're dead. I like those guys. Also, Mance Rayder seems to be a pretty reasonable guy, even though they're kind of painting him as a villain. He doesn't come off that way. But yeah, I do see your point. I think one of the strengths of the show is that there are so many morally ambiguous characters, and you're not really sure who to trust. I guess I can understand how it might hurt the enjoyment of some people that there are not many characters that are actually likable in the traditional sense. I think all the characters are interesting, sure, but likable is not technically the same thing. I think it's impressive that they're actually able to craft characters that you want to spend time with and want to learn more about, even if you don't necessarily like them that much. I think that's part of the fabric of the show. But yeah, in terms of likable versus unlikable, I think it does sway kind of a lot to one side. But it hasn't stopped me from watching. I don't think would I shed a tear if a lot of these characters got killed off. Probably not. It's like I may not like a lot of them, but I'm at least interested in what they do. But for a lot of them, if they died, I'd be like, yeah, you fucking deserve that, you piece of shit. Okay. Joe E. Hannesberg E. I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. I'm sorry, just for the record. Any speculation on who Jon Snow's mother is? I think my theory on who Jon Snow's mother is the same as it was before. The same as it's been for quite a while now. I think Jon Snow's mother was Lyanna Stark. So we can talk about that whole theory. Of course, we're getting into spoiler territory there. But it's a popular fan theory, and I think it's right on the money. All right. I believe this is the last Twitter question, and then we can get to comments. Joe E. Hannesberg E. Have you ever seen anything on TV as gnarly as the fight with the Viper in the mountain? Ever? I'm sure there's something I'm not really remembering right now. This season, I thought there might have been a couple things that were comparable. I thought the fight with Oliver and Slade in the Arrow season 2 finale was really damn good. I would put that maybe put that in the same category. Well, certainly not as graphic. I think May versus Ward in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season finale was pretty damn cool, too. Although, neither of those fights had a guy getting his head exploded like a grape. So, for that alone, and just how memorable that scene was as a result, I think you have to give the win to Viper versus Mountain in the best fight category. Yeah, pretty gnarly that one was. Okay. That's... All right. That was it for Twitter questions. Let me just check really quick to make sure there haven't been any other ones. NJ. Game of Thrones can do no wrong. Apart from the boring sister, she needs tuning up and soon. Yeah, NJ really doesn't like Sansa. I like Sansa. I guess I understand why some people don't. I think she's all right. Of course, I'm biased towards redheads, so I think she got more interesting by the end there. I think part of the problem, part of some people's problem with Sansa is just that she's not a very proactive character. But I don't think that's fair because Sansa hasn't been in a position to be proactive. I mean, she's been a prisoner for 2.5 seasons. I think next season that's gonna change a lot because now she's out in the world and she's learning to play the game with Littlefinger as her teacher, and just imagine what she could learn from that guy. Ooh. All right, let me check the hashtag real fast, and then we can get to comments. Okay. Looks like we're all set. Okay, comments. First initial thoughts on when they killed off Joffrey. I had two thoughts. One was I thought the staging of that whole scene may have been a bit too subtle, because I think the point was when you find out who actually killed Joffrey, you could go back, rewatch that scene, and connect the dots and see how it was done. I had to watch the scene several times before I saw it. It was that subtle. I thought maybe it was a little bit too subtle. Also, this is a change from the book that really bothered me. In the book, during the scene when everyone is giving Joffrey wedding presents, Tyrion gives him the book, and Joffrey tears out the book, destroys the book and everything because he thinks it's stupid. There is a moment in that scene, in the book, where Tyrion says, well, if you didn't like the book, I guess I should get you a proper gift. How about I don't know, how about a Valyrian steel dagger with a dragon bone hilt? Hinting that Tyrion knew that Joffrey was the one who had Bran, who tried to have Bran killed in the first season. And there was a subplot about how Tyrion had kind of deduced that Joffrey was the one behind that. And they cut that out of the show. I have no idea why, because I don't know how they're going to resolve that now. I don't know how they're going to explain that Joffrey was the one who set that up. I don't even know if they will, and it's baffling to me because I think George R.R. Martin actually wrote that episode. I cannot believe they took that out, because I was really looking forward to that, and now it's like I think I think that plot thread is just going to be left dangling. I mean, they did have a little allusion to it when Joffrey said, I'm no stranger to Valyrian steel," but they didn't really show any reaction shots of Tyrion kind of figuring out what that meant. And it's like, I don't know how they can resolve that now. That's going to bug me for a while. I really didn't like that. So that's what I was thinking when Joffrey died. It's like, well, how you didn't explain that he was the one who tried to have Bran killed, and how can you do that now? It's like, that part made me mad. But yeah, Joffrey's death was that was aces. That was great. Purple 1405. Who wins, EC3 or the Mountain in a fight to the death? Oh, please. The hardcore American icon of wrestling has toppled bigger giants than the Mountain. Not even a contest. Purple 1405. Haven't read the books, but what are your thoughts on Ygritte's death and that kid being the one to kill her instead of, say, Jon? I liked it. Well, spoiler for those who haven't read the books, but Jon doesn't actually kill Ygritte in the books. In the book, there's this big battle at the wall, and Jon doesn't see Ygritte until after the fighting is mostly done, and he finds her, with an arrow in the chest, and she's bleeding out on the battlefield, and she's basically dead at that point, and she dies in his arms, but he doesn't know who killed her. I kind of prefer the way they did it in the show, actually, because that kid was the one whose I guess his parents were eaten by the Thens, and he says, "Yeah, go to the wall and tell them, the wildlings are coming to kill and eat them," or whatever the hell it was. So that was the kid, I believe. So I was kind of happy that the kid got a little bit of vengeance there. That was a cool moment, and plus it spawned that crows before hoes meme, which I think is hilarious. Although I didn't necessarily feel that bad for Ygritte at that point, because we only saw a little bit of her in season 4, but when we did see her, she was just killing folks, and when she wasn't killing folks, she was talking about killing folks, and she did let Gilly live, and Gilly and her baby, she let them live, and that was nice of her, but for the most part, she spent season 4 in a murderous rage, so she wasn't terribly sympathetic when she died. But I did actually prefer the show version to the book in that one, because I felt kind of cheated in the book when we didn't get to actually see her get killed, get the killing shot. I thought that was something that should have happened when her and Jon were face to face. For it to happen off the page or off the screen or whatever, I didn't like that. So I preferred the way they did it in the show. NJ Brady. How dare that blonde, overly tall female knight end the Hound? Dude, you gotta learn the characters' names. Come on, man. She's been on the show for 3 seasons now. It's Brienne of Tarth. It's not a hard name to remember. I do not forgive her. I quickly got to like the Hound. Thoughts on her and the Hound? Well, first of all, the Hound is not necessarily dead. Unless the producers said he was, and maybe they have. I don't know. But that's the philosophy I take with the show. If you don't actually see them die, then I assume that they're still alive. Plus, I believe there is a fan theory that the Hound might still be alive in the books, just posing as someone else. I haven't read that far in the books yet. I've only read up to Storm of Swords, so I haven't started Feast for Crows yet. That's on my to-do list. But I believe there is a fan theory that the Hound could still be alive, and that's what I'm going with. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I agree. The Hound became unexpectedly likable over these 4 seasons. Thoughts on her and the Hound? I thought that was a really cool fight. Something else they changed from the books, and I like this version. I like this version better. This is another one that I preferred from the books, because I mean, in the book, it kind of went out with like a bit of a whimper. You know, he got injured in that bar fight, and then he just got the injury got infected, and he got sick, and Arya just left him in the forest, and it's not it didn't end with a bang or anything. It just kind of petered out. And here we got this really badass fight with Brienne and the Hound, and that was more exciting. And it was kind of cool to see the Hound kind of bond with Arya, even if he never really expected or intend to the point where finally he says, "Yeah, I'm watching out for her, because she's got no one else, so she's got me." And it's like, wow, you've come a long ways, Sandor. And then for Arya to just pull the ultimate dick move and not even let him die. I'm begging for death. I mean, oh man, Arya's got a heart of ice now. Yeah, it was sad to see the Hound go out like that, but we didn't see him die, so who knows? Give Brienne a break, NJ. She's a cool character. One of the very few characters in Westeros that are innately good. There's a real shortage of characters like that. So give Brienne a break, damn it. Purple 1405. You can't cut a guy's hand off and him not be a good guy. Well, I think you can make him more sympathetic. Cut a guy's hand off to make him more sympathetic. I think. I do think that helped him make him more sympathetic. I think Jaime still has a ways to go to become a really good guy. There was that kind of uncomfortable rape scene in season 4 that may not have come off exactly the way the producers intended it to. Because in the book, that sex was consensual, damn it. In the show, it didn't really come off that way. I'm not sure what they intended, but I don't think it worked. That was an uncomfortable moment, and I didn't really think too highly of Jaime in that moment. So I think he's still got a ways to go, but he is becoming a better character. Well, not a better character, a better person. Yeah, Jaime's becoming a better person, but I think to become a good man, I think he really needs to get away from Cersei, because she's that's a toxic relationship that's doing him no good. The GMC 1992. Thoughts on the actor who played King Joffrey wanting to retire from acting? That's a shame. Jack Gleeson. I thought he was really good. Apparently, he's like the nicest guy in the world. Because I mean, everyone in the cast talks about what a sweet guy he is and how cool he is to work with and how talented he is and yeah, apparently he just doesn't want to continue acting, which is a damn shame because man, that guy was so good. I mean, he created one of the most hateable television villains in a long time, maybe ever. And for someone who apparently is such a nice person and such a good guy, to go that far in the other direction, I mean that takes some real chops and some genuine talent, and it's a shame if he doesn't want to continue acting. I think he's really good, and he could have a great career, but it's just not what he wants. Damn shame. Okay. Purple 1405. I think Sansa could be pretty good next season. Yeah. I think Sansa is poised to become much more interesting. As I said before, her story didn't really advance that much previously, and I could see how other people would get bored with her while she was a prisoner and just not able to affect or change anything around her. Now, it seems like she's taken everything that she's learned and she's kind of turning it to her own benefit. And now she's kind of she's going to become more proactive and actually do things that are going to benefit her and try to help herself and not be so helpless anymore. As I said, she's got Littlefinger to learn from, and Littlefinger, who has been revealed as perhaps one of the most devious characters in this entire universe, if not the most devious, because as we learned, he's kind of the one who set this whole story in motion. And taking Sansa, with Sansa being under his wing now, there's no telling what could rub off on her. Because she's learned from some of the most devious characters, in this entire show, Cersei, and now Littlefinger. I mean, it's kind of frightening because she could be on a path to turning out just like these people now, and for someone like Sansa, I mean, that could actually be a really, really unexpected and really interesting way for her to turn out. But yeah, I don't really get all the Sansa hate. I really don't. Okay. Let's see if we got new questions here. Christian 7. What is love? I don't know. I beats me. I've never been in love, so ask someone who has. What does this have to do with Game of Thrones? Christian 7. What happened to the Dagger of Blood? Dagger of Blood? Is this something from books 4 or 5? Which I have not read yet. I don't know what you're asking. Christian 7. Which is a better book, Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? Don't rage. Well, I haven't read Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to say Game of Thrones. I tried to read The Hobbit once, and I couldn't get through it. I got all the way to the. I think I got about a third of the way through it. I got to the part where they meet the eagles in the tree or something. I just couldn't read anymore. It's kind of my problem. I have ADD and partial dyslexia, so reading books isn't always the easiest thing. I read kind of slowly in general. But with some books, if it doesn't really grab my attention, it's really hard to get through them. And with The Hobbit, I couldn't do it. About a third of the way through, I couldn't read anymore. So I haven't read Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna say Game of Thrones is a better book because I was actually able to read it all the way through and enjoy it all the way through. And yeah, with the no offense to Tolkien, but I couldn't do that with his books. Christian 7, this is about Game of Thrones Season 4. Okay? We're not talking about wrestling here, or video games, or anything. The GMC 1992, same thing. This is Game of Thrones here, okay? Gore 492, what were your thoughts on Tyrion killing his father in the season finale? That was hilarious. I think for someone as proud and as dignified as Tywin to die on the crapper, I thought that was perfect. There was no better way for Tywin to go out. That was awesome. It did make me a little sad, though, because when Tywin died in the books, I was cheering on because that was just so fucking awesome. I couldn't wait for that guy to die. But in the TV show, I was kind of sad because Charles Dance was just such a great actor and was so great with that character. And plus, they did such a great job with Tywin, showing that while he may be just a son of a bitch and he may deserve his fate, at the same time, Tywin was just such a badass and just so incredibly efficient at getting things done that even if you didn't like him, at the same time you kind of had to respect him and root for him a little bit. Because most characters on this show were not nearly as efficient as he was, and let's be honest, without Tywin, the realm probably would have completely fallen apart and really fast with Joffrey as the king. And probably would have fallen apart a long time ago because if he hadn't been the hand of the king during the Targaryens' rule. So yeah, and Tywin may have been a bad man, but the dude was also kind of a badass. You had to respect that, even if you didn't like him. So I thought it was really cool that it was great when he died because he did deserve to die. But man, made me sad that we're not going to get any more Tywin, because Tywin was cool. Purple 1405. I'm glad the Hound did not die of that infection. I was worried that's how they would have him die for a bit. The fight with Brienne was gritty, tough, and unique between a man and a woman. Yeah. I'm glad he didn't die of that infection too. That was well, I talked about that earlier, but that would just be kind of a lame way to go out on this show. I like that they had kind of a red herring where he did get the injury that caused the infection, but Arya patched him up, and I was worried. There it is. There's the injury that's going to kill him, possibly, but no. Then Arya just treats the wound and he's okay afterward. I thought that was a really unexpected change, but it was a good change because I did like how their story was progressing, even though some of it felt unnecessary at the time. And the fight with the Hound and Brienne, I thought that was one of the highlights of the season. That was a really great fight. Purple 1405. I also think Theon can't die evil considering what's happened to him. Well, I never thought Theon was a bad person either. I never really thought Theon was a bad guy. He was just misguided in a lot of the things he'd done. He did. I think the producers described him, really well. And there's one interview where they said they liked Theon. He was one of their favorite characters because he did horrible things for understandable reasons. He may have done some unconscionable things, like killing those 2 orphans and stuff, and when he was taking over Winterfell and what have you. But his motivations didn't come from an evil place. He was doing it because He wanted his father's respect and his family's respect, and he had a lot of conflicting emotions because while he may have owed a debt to Ned Stark for raising him to be a good man, there was a lot of anger and a lot of resentment because he was basically a prisoner during that time. And everyone kept telling him, "Oh, you're so lucky to be where you are. You're so lucky to be a prisoner." I was like, "Well, I don't want to be a fucking prisoner. I just want to go home." And then he goes home, and his father won't accept him. And he's like, "Well, what do I have to do?" You know? Yeah, he did bad things, but he didn't. He did them for reasons that were sort of understandable and sort of sympathetic. So I don't think Theon is evil. I think Theon is more of a tragic character than anything else. Um, doo, 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 doo. He's out of order. He's out of order now? What the fuck? NJ Brady. If Ned didn't die back in season 1, which was a sad start to the show for me, haha, where do you think he would be now? If Ned hadn't died, where would he be now? I think he'd probably be rotting in a dungeon. Unless Varys broke him out, which I believe Varys said he would not do, because he just couldn't risk it. Yeah, I think Ned would just be sitting in a dungeon somewhere. Okay, guys, we're talking about Game of Thrones Season 4 here, okay? If you have questions pertaining to something else, go to my Ask FM account. Maybe if we have to wait for more questions to pop up, I'll go to some of these other ones. But we're talking about Game of Thrones here, okay? What are your thoughts on the Tyrion trial scene? In my opinion, Emerald 404. What are your thoughts on the Tyrion trial scene? In my opinion, it was epic and had a lot of meaning behind it. Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I thought the trial was great. I wonder if perhaps it might have been better if they had kind of condensed the trial into one episode instead of stretching it out over multiple episodes. But yeah, I thought the trial was great. Although again, the Shay factor kind of colored the whole thing for me because, again, because of the way they changed Shay in the show, I don't believe she would have done this to him. Apparently, she decided to, at some point after he broke her heart by breaking up with her and sending her away, in the trial, when she shows up again, at some point during that time, she decided to really fuck him over. And I think we needed to see that. The reveal when she shows up at the trial was powerful, but again, it doesn't. I didn't feel like it made total. It didn't feel organic to me anymore because there was a really big shift in her character that we just weren't privy to. And I think we needed to be privy to that in order for this to make sense. And it didn't make total sense to me because of the changes that they made to the story. But otherwise, yeah, trial was great. I think Tyrion's monologue and his big speech at the end, awesome. I think Peter Dinklage should probably score another Emmy nomination from that. Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog 1. How would it be like if Oberyn didn't die? It would be a lot better, goddammit. Oberyn was a fucking awesome character. And we go back to Dorne with him and have all sorts of fun orgies and adventures and with all that cool Oberyn stuff that he was into, and yeah, fuck. Now it pisses me off that Oberyn died. God damn. Sonic the Hedgehog 1. What do you think of George R.R. Martin? I think he's good. Great writer. What do you want me to say here? I don't know. The GMC 1992. What do you think of Littlefinger? I like Littlefinger a lot. He's one of my favorite characters, actually. Because, you know, the guy is just up to no good all the time, but he's just so... He's just so slick. And it's like, well, he's one of these guys where even though you know he's probably going to fuck over everyone, you kind of like him at the same time because he's just so sly and charismatic about it. He's really hard to dislike, even though you know he's probably a pretty bad dude. And I love how, in actuality, he's probably one of the most dangerous people in the whole show, but no one except Varys really understands this. Everyone kind of underestimates Littlefinger, and when in reality he's probably one of the most dangerous guys out there. So he's constantly coming in under the radar, and no one really sees him coming until it's too late, and that's the mark of a great villain. Purple 1405. Perfect with the Reigns of Castamere playing in the background as Tyrion walks away from Tywin's corpse. Exactly, yeah. Gore492. Overall, what did you think of the Jon Stark character this season? I think you mean Jon Snow. Jon's one of my favorite characters. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't get to, well, spoiler territory here, but they didn't choose the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch this season, which did happen in Book 3. They just didn't have time for it. I guess that'll happen. I expect that'll happen early in season 5. But yeah, I liked Jon's story. I think that was another issue where the pacing kind of affected things because they had to throw in this whole subplot about the Night's Watch defectors taking over Craster's Keep, and him having to take some men to go there and capture them or kill them or whatever. And it felt like this was all done just to give Bran something to do, and I think Jon's story kind of took a swerve there that was not really necessary for him. I think if they hadn't done that, they probably could have gotten to choosing the new Lord Commander and stuff. I guess we could talk about the pacing a little bit later, but yeah, I think Jon's great. I kind of relate to characters that are a little bit mopey and emo. I guess it speaks to me. So I have a soft spot for Jon Snow. Christian 7, these are some weird questions, dude. Again, we are not talking about wrestling right now, man. Part of the purpose of these live streams is so I can talk about stuff that's not related to wrestling, which I think is good for me. So, let's refresh the page, see if we got any new questions here. Well, quite a lot of them, actually. Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Has the mountain died? And apparently not. I'm not sure if he dies in the show in the books because I haven't read that far yet. I think he does. I think that was the deal in the books. Either he was going to die of his wounds or the poison from the wounds, or they were going to execute, or the Lannisters were going to execute him to kind of make peace with the Martells. But in the show, it looks like he's gonna survive because that Maester, the not Maester, the ex-Maester who was expelled from the Maester Order or whatever the hell it was that treated Jaime's stump, believes he can save him through some kind of he's going to pull some kind of Frankenstein shit to save the mountain. So the mountain's going to be more mountain-y now. You know, he's still alive. He's going to be different now, so I'm not sure. Doing some kind of Frankenstein something with the mountain. That's wow. So he's still alive, I guess. Christian 7, do you think they will ever make a Game of Thrones movie? And possibly. Maybe they could do a movie to wrap up the series when it's over. I expect there's going to be some pretty epic battle sequences. That might be the only way they could get enough money to pull that off. Yeah, I saw an interview where George R. R. Martin was asked about that. He seemed open to it, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, I think it's possible they could do it. Christian 7, I present you a gift for your wrestling viewing pleasure. Any match or any show available, you'll love it. You're welcome. Thank you. I will check that out later. Thank you. Okay. Purple 1405. If Varys did like Ned, why wouldn't he break him out like he did Tyrion? Well, I think Varys. Well, Varys is a very. How do I say this? I think that the thing about Varys is that he really, while he does have his own motivations, I think he really does want what's best for the realm. And, as good and as honorable as Ned was, he didn't understand how to play the game. The Game of Thrones, as it were, which is ultimately what led to his downfall. Unfortunately for Ned, he was too good and too honorable to do what needed to be done in a lot of cases. For example, how Jaime killed the Mad King to stop him from murdering everyone in King's Landing, and in Ned's eyes, in Ned's mind, Jaime dishonored himself by killing the man he was sworn to protect. So Ned is very rigid when it comes to things like this, and questions of honor and decency and stuff. And unfortunately, that's just not the world they're living in. Whereas with Tyrion, Tyrion's a bit more savvy in that arena, and I think Varys. I think back to that scene with Varys and Shay, where Varys said Tyrion is one of the few people that could actually do Westeros a lot of good if he was in a position to do so. He has the right, he comes from the right family. He has the money. He has the right last name. He has the right connections, I guess, and he has the right mindset to do what needs to be done. And unfortunately, Ned didn't have a lot of those things, for as good as decent a character as he was. And ironically, Tyrion might have been better for Westeros than Ned was. Plus, Varys had gotten to know Tyrion and probably considered him a friend at that point. And with Ned, I think the whole situation was just a little... the situations were different. And I think Varys discovered that Varys knew that he could probably smuggle Tyrion out of King's Landing with no potential cost to himself, at least until Tyrion went and killed Tywin. And after he did that, Varys was like, well, I'm probably going to get blamed for this now, so shit, I should probably leave. NJ, who is your favorite actress in Game of Thrones? Favorite actress? I think Maisie Williams plays Arya. Yeah, that kid is dynamite. I think she nails everything they give her. Also, Natalie Dormer, who plays Marjorie Tyrell. I think she's pretty underrated herself. Excuse me. Purple 1405. What are your thoughts on the Sexta position in the show? Elaborate, please. Purple 1405. What did you like more, the Battle of Blackwater or the Wildlings versus the Night's Watch? Boy, that is hard to choose. So both were pretty epic. I don't know if anything's going to top the wildfire explosion in Blackwater Bay, but if I had to choose, I think I'm going to go with Wildlings versus the Night's Watch, because we got giants and mammoths and some pretty awesome visuals with the I love the scythe coming down on the wall and just chopping the wildlings in half, and I think that was a bigger battle. Production-wise, it did some really impressive things. And then I remember there was this one tracking shot that just seemed like it went on for a really long time, and it was just going, panning all over the wall. Like, oh my god, what they must have done to set that up. That was really impressive. I could only imagine what it must have taken to pull off that sequence. And also, I thought it was really good. Did a great job with giving each character, a shining moment. Even minor characters like Gren and Pip, and the other dude who's John and Sam's other friend, whose name I don't know. Even Ghost got a cool moment there, and Sam got to kill a wildling, so he's developing a backbone now, and he got a kiss from Gilly, which was cool. Um, yeah, and we even saw like a nicer side of Alistair Thorne. You know, he's still a total jerk, but he's also a badass, and he doesn't run from a fight. And every character got a really cool moment in that episode. So yeah, I think if I had to choose, I go with the Night's Watch and versus the Wildlings. That was a really great one. The GMC 1992. Which actors would you like to see join the show in future seasons? Oh, God, I don't know if I have an answer for that. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with British acting talent. Plus, I haven't read the next two books yet, so I don't know what's coming up. Uh, Katie McGrath. I think if they could find a role for Katie McGrath, that would be great. Just, just, just wow. I mean, I need more Katie McGrath on my television because, goddamn, that woman. Oh, wow. One of my big TV crushes right now. Katie McGrath needs to be on TV somewhere. Purple 1405. Do you think any characters are legit unkillable in the show? Like, not able to be killed, or like they can't be killed because if they were killed, you wouldn't have a show. I think Daenerys. I think you kind of need. I think you can't kill Daenerys because she's kind of anchoring half the show by herself. So you need her. Um, Tyrion certainly. I mean, he's kind of become the de facto male lead of the show after Ned's death. I mean, he certainly was in season 2, so I don't think you could kill Tyrion off at this point. Probably Jon Snow as well, because he's kind of the anchor of that whole storyline in the North with the White Walkers and, well, but what the Wildlings rather. Um, so there's 3 right there. There might be more that I'm not thinking about. N.J. Brady. Game of Thrones lost one of the best characters so early in the show, Syrio Forel. I don't think the show has really managed to recover from that. Obviously, I'm joking, but he did his part to help Arya to be how she is today, so he did have somewhat of an important part. I like Syrio Forel too. But remember, we did not see him die. Don't remember how. I don't remember that. That might have been different in the books. I don't really remember, but we did not see him die in the show. So he might still be alive for all we know. Remember, and Arya is headed to Bravos now, which is where Syrio came from. So you never know. I mean, he could show up again. And I'm really hoping we see Jack and Hagar again too, because that dude was cool. Okay, refresh the page. Okay, first. Purple 1405. Do you agree Do you agree that the White Walkers are too easy to kill with a green kryptonite-like weakness? Well, green kryptonite-like weakness, referring to the Dragonglass blades. Not necessarily. I mean, and yet you can kill them with obsidian weapons. But how many Dragonglass weapons have you seen on this show? Supposedly, this stuff is pretty rare. They found that all the obsidian, the Dragonglass weapons wrapped in that Night's Watch cloak at the Fist of the First Men, but they treated it like it was kind of a significant. So I'm guessing that Dragonglass is a pretty rare thing. So I think it's good that the White Walkers have some kind of weakness you can exploit. And with a name like Dragonglass, I'm assuming you need a dragon to make it. So I think that it's going to tie into Daenerys' story. I think they're building up to some big type of confrontation between Dany on one side and the White Walkers on the other side. Possibly all. My guess is it's going to lead up to Dany, all of Westeros kind of rallying behind Dany and possibly Jon Snow as well. That's my theory. Versus the White Walkers. And Dany's dragons are going to create a lot of Dragonglass for them to drive them back and kill the White Walkers and stint shit. So I don't know. I don't really agree with that, I think. Purple 1405. Sexta position is when people have sex while a guy monologues in the background. Oh, okay. What was your original question? Let me go back and see. What are your thoughts on the Sexta position on the show? I think it depends on the scene. There was one really good one in Season 1 where Littlefinger is trying to teach his whores, the whores in his employ, to be more convincing when they fake their orgasms. So he's having two whores pleasure each other while he's talking about Catelyn and how she chose the Stark boys over him. And I thought that was a really good scene. It's like the first time I was like, whoa, this guy might not be what he appears to be, and he's got some issues that seem pretty deeply rooted, and this might not be such a good guy. I thought that was a great scene. I think there was another one with Oberyn in Season 4 that was also good. Well, I don't think they do it that often. But, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think it would probably get tedious if they did it too much, but I don't think they do. Christian 7, are there enough black people in Game of Thrones? Well, there aren't very many of them, that's for sure. Yeah, they could do with a little more diversity. I agree with that. Well, there was Zaro Zoan Doxos and Salador San. I wish we'd see more of Salador San. I like that actor. He's cool. Yeah, there could be more ethnic people in there. I'm really anxious to see more of Dorne because apparently that's well, if Oberyn was played by a Hispanic actor, then I'm guessing that's going to be maybe like Spain or something. Maybe have more Hispanic people in there. I do agree there probably should be more Hispanic, or not Hispanic, but ethnic actors in there. So they could stand to get a few more black actors in there. Yeah, I agree with that. A little more diversity would be nice. Okay. There's the page. Mm. The Save Me one. If a Game of Thrones character were to get a spin-off series, who do you think it should be? I think Daenerys could carry her own series. I mean, she's practically doing it now. I mean, she's carrying her own storyline. You know, for the last 4 seasons, I think Daenerys could do it. I think Arya might be able to do it, and just have a spin-off about Arya joining the Faceless Men, and have the whole series be about her misadventures as an assassin in Bravos. That would be pretty cool. The GMC 1992. Do you think Liam Neeson would be a good fit for the show? Yeah, if they could get it. Of course, I haven't read the last 2 books yet. Okay. Purple 1405. Damn it. Books yet. Okay, well, all right. I thought I lost the stream there for a second. Hold on. Now apparently it's back. Purple 1405. Do you think Daenerys was right to send Ser Jorah away, and what do you think he does next? I think Dany was justified, yeah. This was the man that she trusted more than anyone else, who'd been by her side and been her trusted confidant for 4 seasons, and then she finds out that that he'd betrayed her, and their whole relationship started in lies and betrayal. I think she was very justified in sending him away, because she could have done a lot worse. I thought she showed a lot of mercy in letting him keep his life and just exiling him. What do I think he does next? So, having not read the books, I can only guess about that. I think he might go to one of the cities that she freed previously, and try to fix the problems that have broken out there. Maybe go to was it Astapor? I think it was Astapor. One of the cities that she freed, because apparently since she left, the power structure that she left in place is kind of broken down, and they're just not good places since she left them. So I think he might go to one of those cities and try to fix those problems to try to get back in her good graces. Purple 1405. How do you see the storyline with the dragons going, since Daenerys apparently can't control any of them? I don't know. That's a good question. I think that's... Wow. Well, okay, Viserion and Rhaegal are locked up. Drogon is still out there, so he's still free and still growing. And he's completely uncontrolled now. Again, I don't really know, having not read the books. I think Dany may have to try to track Drogon down, try to contain him, and I think that situation is going to become more complicated, and I think Dany is going to continue to learn that being a queen and a ruler means sometimes making really difficult choices that you're not always going to like, and sometimes there are no easy answers, as we saw how she hates slavery, and she said earlier in the earlier season how a dragon is no one's slave. Well, yeah, now she's finding that she has to lock up her dragons for the safety of her people, and she's learning that there's, it's tough. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and she has to make a lot of really hard decisions, and she's probably going to make some even harder ones next season because Drogon is still out there. I mean, he might kill people. He might kill more people, and that could turn the people against Daenerys, and she may have a revolt on her hands because of that. Who knows? Again, I'm just guessing here because I haven't read the books. Well, I haven't read books 4 and 5 yet, because that's how I tend to do these things. I go season by season. How it was before. I watched season 1, and then I read book 1. And I watched season 2, and then I read book 2, and then I watched season 3, and I read book 3, and I finally... So I was a little ahead by the time season 4 started. So I kind of knew what was going to happen there, and I'm going to try to read book 5 before... I'm going to try to read Storm of Feast for Crows before season 5 starts. Although I probably won't completely know what's going on because they split up the timeline between books 4 and 5 there. So I expect the pacing is going to be really weird next season. And so I don't really know where the storyline with the dragons is going. I can speculate. But that's about all I can do. Purple 1405. Oberyn should have gotten his own spin-off, and I'm sure it would be eye-crushingly good too soon. Yes, he did die too soon, goddammit. Oberyn could have had his own spin-off. Because who knows all the crazy, cool, erotic stuff they do back in Dorne. I'm really anxious to see what goes on in Dorne next season. Supposedly we are going to see Dorne next season, and I'm really excited about that. God damn, Oberyn could have had his own spin-off. That would have been fucking awesome. Again, there was so much potential with that character. It just galls me to no end that they killed him off the way they did. It's so much wasted potential there. I know it's what happened in the books, but it made me so mad because the guy was so cool. Fucking mountain. God damn. Christian 7. Is Game of Thrones your favorite TV show ever? It's one of them. Favorite TV show of all time? I don't know if I could pick just one. No, I have a list of my favorite TV shows of all time. It would certainly be on it. I don't think I could pick just one that's like my favorite ever. I don't think I could narrow it down that much, but it's one of my favorites, certainly. Purple 1405. Which name do you like better, Daenerys or Khaleesi? Um, Khaleesi is easier to spell. I like that. I like them both. I don't know. Um, yeah, I like Daenerys because that's the name she had when we met her. The Khaleesi thing kind of weirded me out because I didn't know what it meant at first. I had to go look up on Wikipedia. It's like, what does Khaleesi mean? It's okay, it's female Khal or whatever, or the Khal's wife. Okay, that's what. All right, that makes sense. But I like them both. I don't know. I was surprised to learn that Khaleesi was actually a really popular name, and it's like a lot of new mothers were naming their daughters Khaleesi. Apparently, I read that somewhere. I was like, what, really? Wow, that's kind of cool. You know, that's not her actual name, right? It's just a title. Christian 7, tell the truth. Do you watch Game of Thrones because of the softcore sex? No, I watch Game of Thrones because it's a great show. It has great writing and great actors and great production values, and it's based on a series of books that I really enjoy. The sex is icing on a already delicious cake. Is it's not necessary for my enjoyment of the show. I mean, I can watch softcore sex anywhere. I have the internet. You know, Purple 1405. How close do you think Game of Thrones is to reaching its peak in viewers, having gone up over every season so far? I don't know. Right now, I think the sky's the limit. I mean, it just passed The Sopranos' highest rated season, so it's already the highest rated show in the history of pay cable now, apparently, and it's still going up. So, and every time I think it's reached its peak, it goes higher. So I couldn't tell you. NJ, do you agree that Sir Jorah Mormont needs to do more? Eh, maybe. I think with Jorah, it's kind of a similar situation to Sansa, where he just hasn't been in a position to do more because he's kind of just been he's been stuck with Daenerys and just kind of attached to her and being like a supporting character in her story. I think now it looks like he's going to be off on his own storyline next season, and I think he will get a chance to do more. I'm interested to see that. Yeah, the guy seems like a really good actor. So give him his own storyline. Who knows what could happen? Yeah. Purple 1405. 20 years from now, when Game of Thrones isn't a thing anymore, I'm going to feel so sorry for people named after characters in the show. Yeah. That's going to be a little weird. Boy, those kids are going to get picked on in school, aren't they? I can just picture showing up for like elementary school and then reading off the attendance list, and the teacher going, Brian, Lisa, Julie, Alex, Elizabeth, Khaleesi, Arya. Yeah. Those kids are in for some awkward days in school, I think. I don't think they're bad names. I mean, they're unique. They're different, but they're not straight up embarrassing or anything. All right, Khaleesi, maybe that could take a while to really catch on, but hey, who knows? I mean, it could become a popular name in a few years. I mean, you never know. Christian 7, what kind of sub is that? This is a roast beef sub with American cheese, lettuce, and mustard, and ranch dressing. And I don't know what kind of bread this is. Purple 1405. Do you think 10 episodes is enough per season, considering they split Book 3 into seasons 3 and 4? I think it's a good number. I think it's a good median to have. I think. Wait, hold on. I just lose the damn stream now. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I think it's a good round number to do it. That's a good as place as any to talk about the pacing issues. I think some of these books are easier to adapt than others, and each one has its own specific set of challenges. And I think that has led to pacing issues at certain points. I think certain episodes, certain seasons, probably would have been better suited to having fewer episodes, and others would have been better suited to having more episodes with which to kind of spread out the story, perhaps. Whereas in other cases, it would have been better to condense the story. Specifically, it's Season 1. As good as Season 1 was, I thought it was very slow-paced at times. I thought if they'd maybe done it in one or two fewer episodes, that might have sped up the pacing considerably. Which one was paced the best? Which season was paced the best? I think arguably Season 3 was probably had the best pacing, and that was not even covering a full book. But that, again, led to pacing issues in Season 4. Because I think Season 4 probably suffered the most from this. Because I guess we were led to believe that they were adapting the second half of Book 3 in Season 4, but they weren't. In actuality, they were probably adapting the last 300 pages of Book 3, parts of Book 4 and 5, and a bunch of stuff that the writers just made up to fill time. Reference a lot of Bran's story, and I guess a lot of Theon's story too, because Theon does not even appear in Book 3. So everything that they've done with him for the last 2 seasons has been stuff the writers made up, apparently. I think they might have thrown some stuff from the books in there, but Yeah, it's that ripple effect that I talked about earlier. You change one thing and it's going to have repercussions for a lot of other things, and it does make for wonky pacing at times. And I think Bran's storyline has suffered from this, and Jon's storyline kind of suffered from this. Daenerys' storyline suffered from this in season 2, I think. And I think for the most part they've been really good about this, but there were some times when I think when I thought, well, it probably would have been better if they'd stuck to the books more closely. There were other times when I thought, okay, well, maybe they should have changed this because this wasn't really necessary, or it doesn't work so much if you stick to the books in this case. So I wonder if I do wonder sometimes if which, given the particular book they're adapting each season, if they could go to HBO and say, you know what, this would work better with 11 episodes, or this one would work better with 9 episodes, and I guess that's not really how TV works. Again, it depends on the book, so they're kind of, I guess they're kind of stuck adhering to the format of television. So it's kind of a tricky situation. I mean, they've done pretty well with it so far. It's just it does affect the pacing at certain points. I agree with that. Did I just lose the damn stream? Nope, I've still got it. NJ Brady, don't think, just answer. Who do you want sitting on the throne? Daenerys. I think once she learns what she needs to learn, she seems like the ruler Westeros needs, I think. Or Tyrion, or Jon Snow, one of those. Purple 1405, where do you rate the scene with Littlefinger and Varys in the throne room in the episode Climb? In the Climb episode. I mean, the one where they were the wildlings were climbing the wall? Where Jon and Ygritte were climbing the wall? That one? Oh, God. Was this the chaos is a ladder speech? Is that the one you were talking about? I liked it. I'd have to go back and watch it again to refresh myself, but I thought it was a great scene. Yeah. When are you getting a haircut? Why don't you grow long hair like Edge? Well, I don't need a haircut right now because it's still really short. Why don't I grow long hair? Well, normally I like short hair because it's easier to manage and I don't have to do anything with it. I get up, I run my hand through it, and that's it. I don't have to comb it or brush it or anything. And I like it when I don't have to really fuss a lot with my hair. So, plus I don't like getting haircuts. I just think I get bored. So I got the clippers, the do-it-yourself clippers. So I just wait for. So every 6 months or so, I just cut it all off. It's quick and it's easy. And I was kind of getting used to the long hair earlier. It was starting to look really mullet-ish. I wasn't really sure how to trim that myself, so I figured, okay, I'll just cut it off again. Christian 7, Spartacus, Game of Thrones, or Vikings? Well, given that I have not seen Spartacus or Vikings, I'm going to go with Game of Thrones. Christian 7, you seem to favor Daenerys too much? Wee bit sexist. I favored Daenerys too much? How? Yeah, I don't know how I favor Daenerys any more than other characters. Yeah. How does that make me sexist? I don't understand your question. Your comment or whatever. Okay. Okay, checking Twitter, see if there are any new questions here. All right, if you guys have any more questions, put them in the comments, because if there are no others, if there are no, excuse me, if there are no other ones, then we'll talk about wrapping this thing up here. Okay, thank you for the plug, NJ. Retweet that. Okay. All right, well, there's nothing there. So, refresh the page. If we get no new ones, I guess maybe I can go over some of these non-Game of Thrones related questions real fast, and then I can wrap this up. Who do you like more, Varys or Littlefinger, and what are your favorite scenes of the two separate or together? I prefer Littlefinger. I like Varys too. I guess it's just personal preference, but yeah, I kind of already went over that. I like Littlefinger is one of my favorite characters just because of how slick he is. My favorite scene, I guess, yeah, the one I talked about earlier, where he's trying to get his two whores to fake orgasm more convincingly while he's talking about how Catelyn rejected him in favor of the Stark boys. I think that thing's probably my favorite one with the Littlefinger. Christian7, when is your next Arrow stream? Well, there's no reason to talk about it now. Like if and when this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. post-show series happens, I was thinking of doing it on Wednesday. That way I could talk about Arrow too. So So watch, Agents of Shield on Tuesday, watch Arrow on Wednesday, and then maybe talk about them both. Maybe. But there's no real reason to talk about Arrow now. I heard they cast Katana with Devon Aoki, so she's going to be in the next season. That's pretty cool. Don't really know much about Katana. But Devon Aoki was cool in Sin City, so I like that. Purple 1405. Seemingly half the female characters in Game of Thrones are really strong in one way or another, especially compared to other shows. What are your thoughts on how women are portrayed in Game of Thrones as, on the one hand, nothing but sex objects, but on the one hand seem to be a lot smarter than most of the men? I like it. I like it's very refreshing, and not necessarily something you see a lot in television, to have, and movies for that matter, to have the female characters to have many of the female characters be just as strong, smart, and savvy, if not more so, than the men. Reference Olenna Tyrell, who seems to be thinking 5 steps ahead of everyone else. And Brienne, who's probably one of the most badass fighters in the whole show. Daenerys, who is she's Daenerys. I like it. I like seeing the women on an even playing field with the men. I think that's great. And I think wish it was something we saw more of in television and film, honestly. NJ Brady, make up a pair of any characters in Game of Thrones you'd like to see in a relationship or tag team-like couple. I thought it would be kind of fun to see Olenna Tyrell and Tywin together. Not necessarily as a couple, but just have them team up and do something together. I thought that would have been really cool, because the scenes they had together were awesome. I kept wanting more of those, because they just bounced off each other so well. They were like the perfect sparring partners. As a couple, I'm going to say Daenerys and Jon Snow. Because I keep thinking that one's going to happen at some point, probably at the end of the series. Christian 7, who would you have direct a Game of Thrones film? One of the directors from the show. Alex Graves, I think that's his name, who I believe directed the episode with the battle between the Wildlings and the Night's Watch at the Wall. I believe he may have directed the Purple Wedding episode too. Yeah, let him do it. He does a great job. I mean, and if you're gonna do a Game of Thrones movie, don't entrust that to some Hollywood hack, and get somebody you trust. Okay. All right, we are winding down here. Going on 2 hours. So, think about starting to wrap this up. Christian 7, do you ever watch Game of Thrones inside the episode? It's pretty interesting. Yeah. I'll watch those every week. Yeah, they're really good. Okay. Now we're kind of approaching the end of this here. Questions are kind of tapering off, so I'll just go back and answer some of these non-Game of Thrones related questions, and then we can then if there's no other actual season 4 stuff, we can wrap this up and call it a night. Okay. Would you like to see Christopher Nolan direct a directed Transformers movie, asks the GMC 1992. Doesn't sound like it's Nolan's wheelhouse, but he couldn't possibly make those movies any worse than Michael Bay did. So why the hell not? If he wanted to do it. If anyone could make a good Transformers movie, it would be Nolan. Christian 7, does Call of Duty have too much camping? I don't know. I'm not much of a gamer. I have not played the Call of Duty games. I'm sorry. Christian 7, when is Buck Angel debuting in TNA? I have no idea. Christian 7, will the Flash TV show be as good as Arrow? Having not seen the Flash TV show, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Apparently, the pilot leaked online somewhere. I haven't seen it. I heard it's good. I believe it's the same guys that did Arrows, so I'm optimistic about it. What do you think Jason Momoa will do as Aquaman? I don't know. All we know is that he's been is the casting. I think it's a good choice. But we have no idea what he's going to do as Aquaman or how big the part is going to be in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. But I like the casting. I think it's good. That's all I really got to say. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, he should have been Kraven. Which Kraven are we talking about here? Is this a DC Kraven or Kraven the Hunter in the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery? That's the only comic book Kraven I know. I don't know. Christian 7, if Robbie E got a spot on Game of Thrones, would you turn a new leaf and respect him? No, I would just call bullshit. That would be awful. Christian 7, side note, Bully Ray is dating Velvet Sky, and that's why the Game of Thrones world is better. Is there something wrong with Bully Ray dating Velvet Sky? I admit it's a little strange. Never would have expected that, but nothing wrong with it, I guess. I suspect that's where Velvet's new ink came from, which I don't like. I don't think it's very flattering at all. I think she kind of ruined her look by getting that big gaudy tattoo on her left arm. I don't think that's helping her look at all, because I don't. All the excessive tattoos have not helped Angelina look any better. Quite the opposite, actually. Christian 7, what other TV shows do you watch? What other TV shows do I watch? I love The Big Bang Theory. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course. It's probably my favorite right now. Arrow. It's way up there. That's a great one, too. What the hell else am I watching right now? I don't really watch as much TV as I used to. I started watching Penny Dreadful recently. That's been really good, although the pacing is very slow. Only seen the first 2 episodes so far. It's good. It's just really slow paced. So I'm hoping it'll pick up a little bit. But I'm still watching because Eva Green is amazing on that show. What else? What else? Oh, Masters of Sex is really good. I'm watching anything else? I don't think I'm really watching anything else. Defiance. I really enjoyed the first season of Defiance. Haven't seen the second season yet. I gotta download those episodes because that one kind of snuck up on me. Yeah, but I enjoyed the first season of Defiance, so no, I'm looking forward to starting season 2 at some point. I gotta download those. Yeah, gotta download those episodes, and I don't think I'm really watching anything else. As Dominion premiered recently. But we need to check that out. I heard that was pretty good. Yeah. Christian 7, my favorite TV show, for example, in genres comedy would be The In-Betweeners, but for, say, action drama, I would have to say The Walking Dead over Game of Thrones. Okay, to each his own. I watched the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead. I couldn't really get into it. Not that it's bad or anything, the world is just too bleak and just too unforgiving for me. I mean, even Game of Thrones, as bleak as it is, has a little more light and hope in it than The Walking Dead. Because with Walking Dead, I just feel like, why should I get invested in any of these people? Because I know there's no hope for any of them. You know, all they're trying to do is stay alive a little bit longer, but I know ultimately they're all doomed. So why should I feel like why should I watch? They're all fucked. You know, the world is already over. There's no hope for any of them. So why? It's not a bad show. If you guys like it, great. Congratulations. It's not for me. Christian 7, trick question. If one TNA wrestler could be incorporated into Game of Thrones, who would it be? LOL, you're going to be so confuzzled. Samoa Joe. I would have him play Strong Baywaz. I don't know how that character's... I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or spelled or whatever, but it's a character from the books. It's one of Dany's eunuch soldiers, who is not in the show, but he's a pretty cool character in the book. In fact, he was the character who defeated the Marine soldier that the Masters sent out to confront Dany's army, and in the show it was Dario Naharis who defeated him, but it was Strong Baywaz, I think. Balwez, whatever the fuck his name was. He was the guy who did it in the book. I would, if I had to pick someone from the TNA roster, I'd have Samoa Joe play that character. Christian 7, I'm expecting a big video about the new Batman show, Gotham, and the Flash show. I guess we could talk about those at some point. I'd have to watch them for a little bit. But yeah, I expect there will be some future live streams about those shows. Christian 7, most people hate having strong female characters. Personally, I do too, but it really depends on how they are portrayed. You got something against strong female characters? Why? What's wrong with that? I think that's a good thing to have. Okay. Okay, I get to more Game of Thrones questions here. Purple 1405. With Tywin now dead, do you see the Iron Bank picking a side against the Lannisters? I think they already did. I think that's implied. I think they decided to back Stannis. That's how he got the money to buy an army, the army with which he used to defeat the wildlings at the Wall. So yeah, I think the Iron Bank chose to back Stannis, and with Tywin dead now and Cersei of all people in charge of the realm, I think they're probably thinking they made the right decision. And they probably did, because apparently the Lannisters are broke now. They got no money. So the Iron Bank's not getting its money back. So yeah, back Stannis by all means. NJ Brady, do you see your personality in any of the characters? I see a little of myself in Jon Snow, just because I kind of, maybe a little bit in Tyrion, because I kind of identify with outcast characters for personal reasons. Christian 7, Aquaman, are you having a laugh? By far the worst character. Well, I've never read the Aquaman comics, so I'll take your word for it. Okay. Well, we're at back up to the top here. So if that's it for questions, can probably call it a night. Okay. NJ, do you think Arya and the Hound, if he survives, should reunite and continue their story together, or should the Hound go in another direction? No, I think their story is pretty well told at this point. If the Hound survives, I'd like him to go in another direction. Because from where they left off with the Hound and Arya, that's probably kind of a toxic situation that the Hound could do well to get away from. Because I don't think he would be too fond of Arya after the way she left him to die. Yeah. I like the Hound to go off in another direction. Because it seems like him and Arya are headed in different directions now. The Hound is kind of rediscovering little bits of his humanity, whereas Arya is kind of losing hers. So I think it would be good for the Hound to get away from her and try to find some peace somewhere, if he survives. NJ, are you currently reading Game of Thrones? No, I'm currently reading the Dresden Files Cold Days. Yeah, because I'd finished Storm of Swords, and those books are like reading one of those books is like running a fucking marathon. I needed a break. I needed something a little easier to get through, and I love the Dresden Files books, so I started that one. Did I lose the damn stream now? Oh, tell me I'm not getting a cold here. There it goes. NJ, are you watching Orange is the New Black? I think that's had an entertaining 2 seasons so far. I have not seen Orange is the New Black. I've heard good things about it. I may watch it at some point. I haven't seen it yet, though. NJ, again, people complained that a female character was missing at the end of Game of Thrones Season 4, and she was in the book. Can you relate to this opinion on what are your thoughts on this, if so? I guess they're thinking of, I guess they're referring to Lady Stoneheart. In the books, spoilers here. If you hadn't read the books, and I guess, well, sort of spoilers for the show too. So this is your spoiler warning right now. If you don't want to know spoilers, turn the video off. In the books, the Brotherhood without banners happen upon the corpse of Catelyn Stark, and they have Thoros of Myr resurrect her with his Red Priest powers, whatever the hell he was using to resurrect Beric Dondarrion over and over again. Apparently, this happens at the very end. I think at the very end of Book 3. Apparently, this will not be happening in the show. I think the showrunners have now confirmed this. There will be no Lady Stoneheart in the Game of Thrones TV series, so Catelyn Stark will not be coming back to life. That's a shame, because I was looking forward to that. I thought that would have been really cool. But yeah, because of the skewed timeline, I don't see how they could possibly bring her back to life now, because her body's probably pretty well decomposed and, pretty much gone at this point. Yeah. That's probably the biggest change up and this from the books to the series up until this point. And I guess, having not read the next 2 books yet, I don't know how big her part would have been. But yeah, I can only imagine the ripple effect that's going to cause. Would have been cool to see Michelle Fairley, though, again, because I liked her. But she's getting plenty of work now. I guess she was on Suits, and now she's on 24. So she's all over the place now. So she's keeping busy, which is nice to see. And let's see, is there any more? NJ, where is Fourth Dimension Fool Killer? I don't know where Fourth Dimension Fool Killer is right now, but he's cooking up some kind of nefarious plot. You can bet your ass on that. I imagine he'll show up when we least expect him to make my life miserable once again. I couldn't tell you when, but he's around here somewhere, possibly at the strip club, spending all my money again. And I think we're over the 2-hour mark now, so I think that's a good place to end it for the night. Thanks to everyone who showed up. Thanks for all your questions. This was the most questions from Twitter that I've gotten so far, so thank you for that. I don't know when the next live stream will be or what the topic will be. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Just hit me up on the Twitter page. At the real FK9, if you want me to do a live stream about anything. I'm going to try to do these on a semi-regular basis, just because I think it's good for me to talk about something other than wrestling. I get a little burned out on the wrestling these days. So yeah, there's one about divas and knockouts that I want to do. I want to do one of those again at some point. I don't know when that'll be. Summer movie season, possibly. Although there's a bunch that I haven't seen yet. I really don't want to see Transformers 4, because I hear that's awful. 22 Jump. I haven't seen 22 Jump Street. I want to see that. I did see How to Train Your Dragon 2. That was really good. And I want to see the Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So, as summer movie season, I might do. And I think I'm probably going to do that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reaction, post-show reaction stuff. And we can also talk about Arrow and The Flash and maybe Gotham too on that as well, because it depends on what day of the week I do it on. But yeah, we'll see. So when I decide when the next live stream will be and what the topic is, I'll put some kind of announcement up there, and check my Twitter for updates on that. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.